going on, everybody? And welcome to the final word with MattyB here on the It's a Rap Sports Network on this Tuesday, April the 5th, 8th. It's kind of 2025. You've landed on your final destination of your Philadelphia Sports Day, and I am happy to be, once again, the purveyor of that. And welcome back to the program. Oh, wow, man. 7-5. That was not a good one, right? We're going to definitely continue the conversation started so elegantly by Steve Fuentes on the Fighting's Final, but we are going to continue the Phillies conversation because you haven't heard my side of it yet. And you might be like thinking you know what I'm going to say, but and you might be right. But we're going to get into some more Phillies talk tonight as it falls 7-5 at the hands of the Atlanta Braves, as well as we're going to talk some April baseball. That's, and the reason why I'm kind of, again, harping on April baseball because it's April. It's the beginning of a 6-month season. It's the beginning of a marathon. It is a baseball marathon. And games like tonight put all that into perspective. Or I should say they actually blow all that out of perspective. But I guess I'm going to place it back in perspective. And also because I don't know where you are in the world, but where I am, we got an inch of snow today. And boy, it is, talk about depressing. Talk about goddamn depressing. Snowing during baseball season, snowing in the spring, snowing after Christmas in general to me is depressing. So we're going to discuss April baseball and all the ins and outs of that, as well as our regularly programmed things that we do here on the program, Your Day and Philly Sports History, the of the night segment, the card review, and a new segment tonight, guys. I am tossing out a new segment. It's kind of following on the lines of the all-time, or Matty B's all-time Phillies roster, Matty B's all-time Flyers roster. We're kind of going down that road, not with a roster. I'm not doing the all-time Sixers or the Eagles. I'm not doing that, not yet at least. But we're going to do a new segment, and I'll reveal that later on in the show. So let's get going. But before we do, let me remind everybody out there that this program is brought to you by all the great things that are happening here on the It's a Rap Sports Network. And just to name some of the few of them, it's the Fighting's Final, as you just heard Steve Fuentes, as he also led in with his 0-1 record as the Fighting's Final host. That's all right, Steve. One day you'll move up to the big boy table with me. Not everybody can be 4-0 hosting the program, but I got 3 years of 3 years of cash in this, so that's all right. Don't get depressed, Steve. You'll get your first win at some point. So he had it tonight, and then Wednesday, tomorrow, Mike Lauer returns, and then on Thursday, my boy Sal G will pull you through the rest of the series. And then on Sunday at 9, up till May 4th, remember, the wraparound with Pat Bernard now will be your source for Sunday morning entertainment. And then on May 4th, we're going to replace the wraparound at 9 with the P&M and the AM program as that returns to the airwaves. And Thursday nights, I should say, at 9 p.m., Steve Fuentes and Pat Bernard take you through the wonderful world of Union Soccer and the MLS on the attacking third. So that's all the great stuff that we got going as we grow this thing every single day, as we try to get better and better for you. Joe Hal, how are you? It's good to see you again, Joe. Thank you, Ricky, for watching. I appreciate it. So let's get it rolling tonight with Your Day in Philadelphia Sports History, all the way back to the ripe year of 1934. That's right. We're going way back. We're going way back in the Wayback Machine tonight. 1934. Today, in 1934, if you were hanging out in the city of Philadelphia, it was a Sunday. And no, I don't know that through firsthand knowledge. Okay. I wasn't hanging out I wasn't hanging on this day back in 34, but on this day in 1934, the Phillies played their first legal game on Sundays. Back in the day, the blue law, which prohibited any sort of gambling or sporting event or anything like that on Sundays, was on the books in Philadelphia. And today, the law was voted down in the winter of December of 33. And today, the Phillies were allowed to play their first home game on a Sunday at Shai Park. And it was a game between the A's and Phillies. It was a little interleague exhibition matchup between the two, and it was a rousing success. The Phillies won 8-1 and started everything off and running on Sunday baseball. But for those of you that were around 1934, baseball on Sundays in Philadelphia was not legal, or I should say 1933. then 34 it was. So happy the end of the blue law for those of you that remember it. And again, I am not one of those people, but that was your day in Philadelphia sports history, brought to you by the It's a Wrap Sports Network. All right, let's go. Let's get it in. I was going to probably start off with my little theme here with the April thing, but I think we're going to backtrack and again start the conversation and continue, not start, but continue the conversation. Ricky says, let's go Phillies. Continue the conversation on this game tonight because there's a lot of venom coming at Johan Rojas, rightfully so. The more and more I watch that play, and actually, let's all watch it together because maybe I'm seeing something that you guys saw, or maybe I'm not seeing something you guys saw, but this seems like really bad, and I'm having a hard time justifying at the major league level, and that's key here. This is the major leagues. It's not AAA, AA, single A, rookie leagues, the Dominican winter leagues, the Mexican winter leagues. It's not NCAA Division 3, 2, or 1. It's not JUCO. It's not varsity. It's not JV. It's not modified. It's not little league. It's not T-ball. It's not coach pitch. It's none of that. It's the major leagues, and I'm having a real hard time justifying this play. And let's watch it.
Austin out to left center. I got underneath it. Oh, nobody caught it. Sosa and Rojas didn't communicate, and Riley gets to second base.
Well, this is interesting as we talk about with Sosa, first start ever in left.
All right, so courtesy of whoever I downloaded that from, thank you for allowing me to use that. But again, is there something in that play that I'm missing? Is there some magical piece of information that I'm missing? I know the announcer started to kind of get in on Sosa and the fact that it was his first ever game in left field, but no, that play was not even in Sosa's wheelhouse. That play was nowhere near Sosa. That was Rojas all the way. The ball fell right by his feet. It wasn't like Rojas was running into left center or Sosa was running into center. The play was in center field. It was the center fielder's job to take that play. Just like the catcher is sort of the captain of the overall defense, the center fielder is the captain of the outfield, man. He is the pivot point out there. That's why you have your speedsters playing center field, because you need guys out there to kind of make plays in left center or right center or against the wall or down the line. You need those types of individuals playing in those positions. Rojas, there's no justifying that mistake. The wind didn't take the ball. He didn't lose it in the sun. I'm having a hard time figuring out what happened there. And what's really burning my biscuits more so about this play is that what happened? What was the accountability done? What was the disciplinary action of Johan Rojas? Of course, I don't know that disciplinary action, but I know we came right back out and played the rest of the game. Now, maybe he doesn't play tomorrow. I don't know. But once again, talked about it last week with Bryson Stott getting picked off of first base when there was no on-field accountability for that. There seemed to be no on-field accountability for what happened here tonight as well with Johan Rojas. And I put a post on the Twitter there saying, counting down the days till Justin Crawford is ready. Because I can't have that in the outfield. We cannot have that in the outfield. And yeah, it was a momentum killer for the Phillies. They gave up 3 runs. 13 pitches later, or 10 pitches later, however many pitches it was, that ended up costing the Phillies big time in this game. You can't have that at this level. It's all about the level. It's the major friggin' leagues, man. And what's more egregious to me than that error, I let the cat out of the bag. What's more egregious to me than that play not being made is the scoring of the play. Oh my God, are you kidding me? They gave it a hit? On what planet, what dimension, what hemisphere is that a hit? That is like the prototypical, like if you're learning what an error is, you watch that video. That's not a hit. And yeah, I know individually for Zach Wheeler, he probably doesn't give a damn for that, but he gets charged the earned runs because of that play. What is going on with Major League Baseball? And I am going to look for a Major League Baseball. I have some connections within Major League Baseball. I do, on the officiating side. Now, I'm not going to bring an umpire in here, but I do know people that are in the scoring department. And I'm going to bring somebody on and find out what is going on with scoring. Why are errors so goddamn hard to give anymore? Are we so soft as a society that we don't want to give a baseball player an error anymore? Because, and I've been looking, I've been refreshing the box score every 5 minutes or so, looking for them to change the official scoring on that. They haven't done it yet, but I will definitely be keeping an eye out. If they don't change the scoring on that play, that is criminal. It's criminal, and I get it. It has no bearing on what happened tonight, and that doesn't matter. We lost, that play happened, whatever. But it's just a symptom for me of a bigger problem in the sport that we're not going to call that an error. Are you kidding me? Then what the hell is an error? Can anybody explain to me in 2025 what constitutes an error? Because if that wasn't an error, I really don't know what it is. And if that's not an error, I need to dust off my glove at 52 years old and go and try out for a baseball team, because then I will be fine. I will make a team and I'll be booting balls around the infield. I'm a first baseman by trade. I'll be booting balls around the infield and no errors will be assessed to me. So let me lace them up and get out there, because someone's got to explain to me what the hell an error is in 2025. But I kind of went off on a rant about that. But the bottom line is Rojas has got to make that play. And if he's not going to make that play, then he does not deserve to be in the game. This is the major leagues. Have I mentioned it's the friggin' major leagues? Now, we watched a coach very recently here in this town get run right out of town for being too much of a hard ass or a disciplinarian. But sometimes, and I don't know who said it, I think I might give props to one of my rivals out there. He said it not too long ago. I'm not going to say the name, but I caught this back end. Maybe John Tortorella needs to come on across the street and take the job as the Phillies manager just for 1 year. 1 year. And let's see what he does with that group. Because they're obviously not fearing any repercussions from Rob Thompson. They're obviously not fearing any sort of disciplinary action or being brought to the carpet, being called out, whatever you decide to say that is. They don't fear that with their current manager. And that's why plays like that are allowed to happen. Stuff does happen in baseball. I'm not going to say that's baseball. I'm not, because that play wasn't that's baseball. That was an egregious, terrible play that needs to be addressed by the manager. Rojas should have been sat immediately. Kepler, I don't care. Put Kepler in center. I don't care. Or bring Brandon Marsh in his 150 batting average out. I don't care. Something needed to be done there. There needs to be repercussions for play like that. And that, to me, is the bigger problem about what the error was. It was in the second inning when that happened. The Phillies had all game to sort of undo that. And yes, plays in baseball do happen. You have to kind of adjust through those. But where's the accountability? I'm asking, where is the accountability on this baseball team that plays like that can happen and be allowed to happen? Big Al says Rojas 100% at fault, should be sat. Should have been sat right then and there. A matter of fact, right after the play, Marsh should have been sprinting out to center field and doing this. I mean, come on, man. I thought it was bad last week when Stott gets picked off at first, costing the Phillies a run, right? Cost them a run, and nothing. Stott's back out there in the top of the sixth, right? And then I haven't heard anything more about what might have been said behind scenes or anything. But Rob Thompson just outdid himself on this one. Where is the accountability on this baseball team? And is this the type of team that can win a world championship? With this type of attitude, apparently the philosophy around the team is you can do whatever you want to do and be held completely accountable for. Now, I don't know what was said in the dugout, and I don't know what's going to be said later on or tomorrow. I don't know. But the optics of this to everybody else is like, you can do whatever you want on this baseball team at the major friggin' league level. Listen, and errors happen. Later in the game, Bohm boots a ball and then it ricochets over to Turner and they make the play and they get the guy out of third. Plays happen in baseball all the time. Errors occur all the time. Well, I'm sorry, hits occur, because I don't know what an error is. I'm going to stop referring to them as errors. I don't know what errors are anymore. But hits happen all the time. And you have to kind of, you adjust to those. But the egregiousness of what happened tonight with Johan Rojas, letting the ball literally fall right in front of him. I mean, it fell right in front of him. It fell. Why would that not be your call? Why would that not be your ball? It was right in front of you. But that kind of egregious play, and then Stott getting picked off at first base, they have to be answered for at the major league level. A game check, a fine, something. And I get it. You know, if you don't want to make that stuff public, whatever. But I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? That was definitely an error. Thank you, Joe. Can you tell me what an error is in 2025? Can you define to me what an error is in baseball in this era? Because I'm having a hard time. I'm going to have a good night. Be back. All right, Ricky, you do have a good night, man. Thoughts on Sosa playing left field? Oh, Sosa playing left field. You know, he's that utility guy. He's the guy that you can play every position in the diamond, and he can. I'm okay with Sosa playing left field. I don't, yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, you had a little venture out there tonight, And then with that also being said, Rojas needs to understand that too, But again, this is the major leagues, Joe. I mean, he's a utility player. He can play every position. Yeah, he'll figure it out, man. He'll figure it out. It was kind of an adventure for him, but I've said this from the very beginning. If he can't hit like he's been hitting, then I don't want him on the field at all. I don't care where they put him. They need to sit him. And he didn't look good tonight at the plate. But no, I'm okay. Listen, he'll figure that out. He did okay. He made a damn highlight reel catch earlier in the game, stole a home run, right? And then he had that adventure with a really high pop up or high fly out. Listen, it's going to happen. But I don't really care defensively where he's at, just as long as he's hitting the baseball. If he's hitting the baseball at a 600 batting average, he can pitch for all I care. He can be the fifth starter. I really don't care. But if he can't hit, then he doesn't need to be playing. And then Joe says, now paging Justin Crawford. Yeah, I put something up on the Twitter there asking, counting down the days till Justin Crawford is available. But yeah, that was bad. That was real bad. And I do want to address the other part of this. Everyone's kind of putting the blame on Rojas. Rightfully so, somewhat. But the play did happen in the second inning. So the Phillies had what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They had 7 more times at bat. And they did adjust. They got the lead back. But then they didn't get a hit after the 5th inning. All right. So, yeah, we can kind of blame Rojas for the moment. Kind of blame Rojas for losing the lead, right? But we got the lead back. And then what happened? Then the bats went cold. Then 2024 and 2023 happened. And once again, the Phillies couldn't move runners on. They couldn't get on base, for God's sakes. So let's place blame on Rojas's feet, where the ball was, but also let's place blame on the batters, on the bad offensive approach, on the wild swinging yet again of this baseball team. So I'm not going to sit here and say Rojas is the reason why they lost that baseball game. Nope. Not going to say it. I'm not. He was part of the reason, but he's not the full reason why they lost that. The play happened in the second friggin' inning. It didn't happen at the top of the 8th or bottom of the 8th. It happened in the bottom of the 2nd. Phillies had multiple times to kind of make up for that. But just a really bad game. Zach Wheeler did not look like Zach Wheeler. Now, I'll take Zach Wheeler at any Zach Wheeler over 99.9% of the pitchers in Major League Baseball, even in a game like tonight where he didn't really feel or didn't really have it. Just kind of seemed like he labored a little bit. I'll still take that over most pitchers in this league. And then, of course, when he's dominant, Zach Wheeler pitched good enough to get the win tonight. He absolutely did. He did. Absolutely. Now, he's going to get pinged for those 3 earned runs, and that's totally bullcrap because they weren't earned. That was an error. Again, somebody give me the definition of an error, and I am going to look to get somebody from the scoring department on Major League Baseball on this program because I got to know what I'm supposed to think an error is in 2025 because there's no way in hell you're going to tell me that was not an error. And that's a slap in the face to every kid who grew up playing baseball from 1990 and backwards. Right? That's a slap in the face right there. So is the cancel culture, the wokeness, has that seeped into Major League Baseball, into the scoring department? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, man. But no, I'm not going to pin this game completely on Rojas. I really am not. I'm not. Oh yeah, I already got that one. Joe says I took these out of order. So what time tomorrow? Sundays through Thursdays, 10 p.m. without fail. And then and 2023. And 2023. Looked like Strom was hurt. Yeah, Strom, listen, he got dinged up in the spring, right? Get dinged up down there in Clearwater. I don't think he's been completely 100% since then. And it looks like he kind of got clipped up again. The bullpen, listen, we can keep going down this road too about the bullpen and the no rolls thing. But Kerkering, given an opportunity in a high leverage situation, really came up short. Strom and Banks as well. It just was not a good night. I don't know what Banks is doing out there. And what was he in the 8th inning? They had Banks pitching. What was he out there in? Yeah, Banks is out there in the 8th inning, right? Was it the 8th inning? What's he doing pitching in the 8th inning? I don't get that, but whatever. Rob Thompson's the man in charge, not me. But the Phillies fell 7-5. And the last person I want to talk about, the last thing I want to address, is the best catcher in baseball. Woohoo, man! Let's talk about Mr. JT Realmuto, because there was a play that cost the Phillies it was the 6th run, correct? Or was it the 7th run? Was it the insurance run on the wild pitch? What was that, bad boy? Yeah, it was in the 8th inning, it was the insurance run. It was the Phillies are, Banks and Realmuto and the rest of them are trying to battle out of a position. They're trying to pitch their way out of an inning. And then Banks kind of uncorks one that was in the ground, bounces up and ricochets off the BCIB's shin protector, rolls all the way to the wall. Now it bounces off that brick wall and comes right back out to JT. He picks the ball up, takes about 2 steps, drops the ball again, and then the run scores. Now, is that the best catcher in baseball, folks? Is that Mr. BCIB? Is that what you gauge? Are the same people who are doing errors in Major League Baseball handing out the BCIB award? Because it sounds like that's what's going on. Because that was certainly not the BCIB that I want involved in my baseball team. Listen, that was a terrible, terrible sequence. It was a pitch in the ground. It was in the dirt. I know they ruled it a wild pitch. Bullcrap. That was a pass ball because JT made a play on it. It just got away from him. The ball was in the ground. But by definition of a wild pitch, it is a ball that is unplayable by the catcher. This was playable, and it was. It ricocheted off his leg. It was not a wild pitch. It was a pass ball. Again, don't argue semantics with me because we obviously are having problems delineating what an error is. So now we're going to argue what a wild pitch is. That was a pass ball. And then not to mention, when he gets the automatic ball return of Truist Field's brick walls, he drops the baseball trying to make a play on home plate. So BCIB up your ass, man. No, he's not. And I've always said that he's not. He's a quality pitcher. He's a quality catcher who runs and calls a great game, but he's not the BCIB. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm so sick and tired of the JT Realmuto love fest for a guy that's on the wrong side of his career, trending down. That was way too much damn chalk around the plate that needs to be investigated. Way too much chalk around the plate needs to be investigated. Well, we talk now. We're arguing balls and strikes there, Fuentes. I thought it was a pretty clean game. It was that one. There was one pitch, with Sale early on when he was struggling, where and I've been guilty of this. I've been caught in no man's land with this before, where it was kind of on the inside corner, and he went up, and it looked like he was about to punch, and then or go like that way, but then the last second kind of pulls it back and calls a ball. I've been caught in no man's land like that before. It's a rough place to be. But I thought it was a decent game tonight by the umps. I really do. 7-5, man. 7-5, and the Phillies lose some ground on the streaking Mets, who are now, they're 7-5 now too, or 7-3, aren't they? Mets are making up some ground. And for those of you that are keeping track at home, which of course I am, are we concerned about the standings? 10 games in now to the season. Are we concerned about that, or is this something that that we can continue to sort of keep an eye on. Let's give an updated. I don't ever talk standings in April, but I'm going to do it tonight because right now, if you're doing some scores at home, the Phillies are in second place. That's right, folks. The Phillies are no longer in first place in the NL East. They are a half a game behind the streaking 8-3 Mets, who have now won 6 in a row. And now the Phillies, who have lost 1 in a row, are now a half game behind. So is it time to burn the boats? Is it time to sell the farm? No, let's not do that. Let's not sell the farm. But is it time to get concerned? They're 8-3, a half game behind the Mets in NL East play. Again, that's probably the last time you'll see me look at the standings and talk standings before the All-Star break. But I thought I'd just mention that because it kind of ties in with my second point of the night, and that's April baseball. The graphic I used tonight was a snow-covered National Stadium. I couldn't find one with Citizen Bank Park snow covered, but where I am in the world tonight, it snowed about an inch. It's actually snowing right now, and it's been snowing off and on all day. And it's so depressing because I'm listening to the Phillies game on the radio on my car. I'm driving and it's snowing out. I mean, what are you talking about, man? I mean, that's a gut punch. But it kind of puts everything in perspective. It puts in perspective the 1-8 start of the Braves, now 2-8. It puts in perspective of the 8-0 start of the Dodgers, now 8-3. It puts those things, or 9 or 7-0, wherever the undefeated start the Dodgers had. Now they've lost a few. They lost again today. They're no longer in first place in the NL West. They're in third place, actually, behind the Giants and the Padres. It puts those things in perspective. April does. April is the first month of a very long baseball season. And there's MattyB's rules to surviving April in baseball are very simple. Finish the month of April 500 or better and healthy. That's it. That is it. That's all you got to do. And then you go from there. And I know people, me being one of them, get really wrapped around certain aspects of these games. Every season we go through, I remember last year, they didn't get off to such a good start. I remember very vividly 2023 when they got off to that 1-5 start and came home against the Cincinnati Reds and unveiled and got their NL championship rings 1-5 against the Reds at a home opener. So it is hard. It's not hard to get wrapped around, a bad start or a good start. And yeah, tonight's win or lack of win, loss, whatever, sucked. And it's one of those games that you do look back on probably in September and be like, damn, Rojas. I hope you like in Reading, man. Because if you would have made that play, I know that you can kind of do those types of things. But it's a matter of keeping things in perspective. I'm watching minor league baseball. I watch college baseball. I watch baseball everywhere. And I umped the game yesterday in 35-degree weather. That's not fun. It's terrible, man. That's not baseball. And you really, and I know the game was in Atlanta, but it's hard to gauge baseball this time of the year because it's not in full effect. The ivy has not sprouted yet at Wrigley and all those things. So I just want everyone, and again, physician, heal thyself. I'm one of the worst people at this. Keep in perspective of seasons. April, finish at 500 or better and be healthy. And that's really all you need to do. That's all you need to do for April. So tomorrow night, we're going to get back at this as the Phillies will be back in action tomorrow. Yes, Steve, you are. You're 0-1 on your Tuesday nights on the season. As we talked in the offseason, Steve, or we talked recently about this, I'm going to get you on some more. I know there's a West Coast trip coming soon. I'll get you on some of those late games, so you can get your losing in private. Not many people will be around to watch it, but now good job though tonight, Steve. You've only had I think this is your third rep on the Phillies final all time, and I think your record's 1-4 or 1-3. You're terrible, man. But no, good job tonight, Steve. So when are they doing random drug tests? I don't know, man. I don't know. When are we going to do those, Al? Are you in charge of that? Is it about my BCIB rant? Are you doubting me? Are you going to call me out? Are you going to say that JT Realmuto is still the best catcher in baseball? Again, I'm using one play, and you could say, well, no one's perfect. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but still, you're going to call someone the best catcher in the entire game. That play doesn't happen. The best catcher in the game doesn't let that ball get by them, or the best catcher in that game at least cleanly fields that ball and at least tries to make a play at the plate. That didn't happen tonight. Neither one of those did. So that must not be the best catcher in baseball. Why does Bohm struggle early in the season? Bohm's been struggling since June. What are you talking about, Joe? No, he's been struggling since July. He's been struggling since July, Joe. It's been going on like a whole calendar year. I'm done with Bohm, man. I am done with him. What's he batting, like 200 now? What was that in the 8th inning or 7th inning? I think it was 7th inning. Him and Stott went down, back-to-back strikeouts. Not even just flailing away, getting blown away by 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. Everybody should be able to hit a fastball at this level, right? And they're getting blown away. I'm done with Bohm, man. I'm done with them. And it's unfortunate that we're probably stuck with him because once again, what did we do? Well, we didn't sell when he was high, right? We didn't sell when the selling was at the highest point. There should have been a trade deadline deal made while Bohm was participating in the home run derby last year out in Texas. There should have been a trade made for Mason Miller of the A's. That trade should have went down right then and there, and we would have escaped with that guy. But nope. No. We held on to him. Took some phone calls in the offseason about some crazy value that we thought Bohm was, and we balked on those trades. So now we're stuck with them, and I don't know how long we're going to be stuck with them. But Otto Kemp, there's a name that you might want to start learning. Otto Kemp, who's currently the third baseman for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, is having a great start of the season, and he is one of those highly touted prospects, and he is a natural third baseman. Maybe Otto Kemp makes his way up here to Philadelphia sometime soon in anticipation of Aiden Miller, who's, drafted third baseman and a natural third baseman, but he's been playing and he's going to be playing a lot of shortstop for Reading. So I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know, man. The Bohm thing, I'm done. I'm out. Can't do it no more. That boat has sailed. And Joe, as I said, I don't think he's struggling in the early part of the season. He's been struggling since July of last season. So that's even a bigger question to ask, is what's happened to him? What has happened to his swing? What has happened to his approach? Is it mental? Is the immaturity a problem? Is that what's causing all this? And I don't know, man. I don't know the answer to those questions, and it's as frustrating to you as it is me. But 7-5 Phillies are losers tonight. They'll be back at it tomorrow. Lazardo, I believe, going for the Phillies against tomorrow's Walker, right? Walker's pitching tomorrow, I think. Let's take that real quick. Tomorrow night is, I want to say it's Walker. Yep, Walker against Holmes. So, interesting situation right now. This is an interesting part of the series because you got another pitcher's duel coming up on Thursday with Lazardo against Schwallenbach, right? You got that one coming up on Thursday. So, I mean, does Taijuan Walker have another good start in him? Because this could be a real pivotal game for this series, I mean. And is this what we got going here? So Taijuan Walker goes tomorrow. We'll see how that works out. But the Phillies are 7-5 losers. And Steve Fuentes did an outstanding job on the Fightins final tonight. And as Steve mentioned, he will be mainly filling in on Tuesdays, but we'll mix him into some other games as well. And here's your Fightins final schedule for the rest of the Brave series. Tomorrow, Big Mike Laro. And then on Thursday, Sal G. And then we'll get ready to go to the Lou against those Redbirds as Phillies will be on their way to St. Louis. But let's go to the Of the Night segment. One last point about the Phillies before we move on. There was it kind of filters in with that April theme that I was going on at the beginning of the season. The Phillies have had banker hours to start the season. 4 games, day off, 3 games, day off, 5 games, day off. They've been really a weak schedule, but today starts finally a hit of games all the way out to April 24th. So for those of you that were wondering, why can't I ever catch a Phillies game? It seems like they're always off. And trust me, I've had those feelings too. You're going to get a big dose of Phillies baseball between now and my birthday, April 24th, and also the first day of the draft. So strap in for some Phillies baseball for the rest of the month of April. Finally, we get maybe into the meat of the baseball season. But here we go. Rangers starts in Clearwater on Thursday, and guess who starts on Clearwater on Friday, guys? As Joe Hale wants to bring up, and that's a very good point. Rangers going to go Thursday, but all eyes will be tuned in on Friday because this man will be going on Friday. Andrew Painter is going to be starting Friday for the Threshers against the Daytona Tarragorinos, wherever they are, the Reds Low A affiliate. I believe, Joe, you mentioned on the program last night that Comcast or NBC 10 is broadcasting that game on Friday afternoon. So I don't know if that's true or not. Joe said that. So I'll take Joe's word for it. But yeah, Rangers going to go Thursday, and Andrew Painter will go Friday. And again, I think it's going to be the Friday game, I believe, is getting broadcast locally in the Delaware Valley. Now, never fear if you don't have access and they don't broadcast it, and you got your Andrew Painter Jones going, and you need to fix, just get the MLB app. You can watch all the minor league games too, and that's how I'll be watching it. But I'll definitely be watching, and we'll be chiming in and kind of doing some things with it. Maybe we do a watch party. I don't know. Maybe I do a watch party for Andrew Painter's. I probably only go a couple of innings. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can get something together with that. But big news on the rehab front for Phillies pitchers. And Joe Hale's now updating. It says the Phillies website is doing. So there you go. So everybody listening out there, Joe Hale reporting for the It's a Wrap Sports Network. He's our freelance guy. The Phillies website will be broadcasting Fridays Clearwater Thresher versus Daytona Tarragorinos, whatever they are. And it's the Andrew Painter game. Are they just doing that one, Joe, or are they doing both the Suarez and Painter game? Because I'm sure everybody wants to see Suarez pitch, but I know I definitely want to see Painter. So Painter's start on Friday for the Threshers will be televised by the Phillies website. So make sure you guys are tuned in to check out some Andrew Painter as he begins his long march back to Philadelphia. And hopefully it's a short march. And Joe says just doing Painter. Okay, there you go. So make sure you're checking it out. But all right, let's get to the of the night segment. We're going just one for one again tonight. We're going to return to the MLB draft. We kind of took a break from that for a little bit, but let's get back into it for tonight's MLB draft prospect, Cameron Appenzeller. There's a name for you. That's going to look good on the back of anybody's jersey, man. Know what that name would look good on? The old Cincinnati Red jerseys. You know how they would like wrap them around, like it wouldn't go straight across. They would like contour it around your back and your neck. That name, Zeller, would look great spread out on that jersey, man. But he's a left-hand pitcher from Glenwood, Illinois, high schooler. Appenzinger has boasted his fastball from the mid-80s as a sophomore to the upper 80s as a junior and low 90s last summer, topping out at 94. Now, last summer, he played in a perfect game league. For those of you who don't know what perfect game is, go ahead and Google it. I don't want to explain it. It's like a prep thing for high schoolers, whereas the Cape Cod Summer League, there's a few other leagues around the country that are college prep leagues in the summer. Perfect Game serves mainly as a prep league for high schoolers in the summer. You can carry on a four-seamer and arm side run and sink it on a two-seamer. He gets plenty of horizontal action on an upper 70 slider, and his low 80s changeup fades in the opposite direction. I did some research on this kid. He's not committed right now. I found that very interesting. He did not commit to a program. He did not commit to a college. So it looks like he's going to go pro. And then I think with a pitcher like this, a 17-year-older with some tools, obviously, if he's throwing in the 90s at 17, he's going to make a lot of teams pretty interested. And he's got some other pitches to his arsenal that he's already sort of perfected. He's definitely going to be make some teams very interested. But his age and his experience level might make him more of a lower round pick. Look at him down in that lower part of the draft, and yes, down there where the Phillies will be selecting at 26. He could be available for the Phillies in that position, and he's a left-hander. We need left-handers, and he's a project. I mean, he's definitely at the beginning of his pro road, but why not, man? Take a shot if he's there. And some other players that I think might be there are not there. Yeah, I would be okay with taking old Cameron Appenzeller. Let's have the South Philly faithful try to pronounce Appenzeller. What's the Philly pronunciation of Appenzeller? Appenzeller? I mean, how are we going to say that, folks? But that would be nice. But there you go. Cameron Appenzeller, tonight's MLB draft prospect on the of the night segment. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, he should be there. I think he'll be there down there at 26. All right. All right, let's do we got one new segment. I teased the segment at the start, and let's knock that bad boy out right now. Again, about if you guys have been watching this program since I started doing it, you know, to kind of fill in the gaps, fill in the time, we do we did the Phillies, MattyB's all-time Phillies roster. Then we did MattyB's all-time Flyers roster. We did those both in the span of a few weeks. Tonight, we're going to go through another all-time MattyB thing. Not a roster, though. We're not breaking the Eagles down, which I'll end up probably doing at some point. But I'm not doing 53. I'm probably do a starting offense and defense. But I'm going to do tonight MattyB's all-time favorite MLB jerseys. Yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight. I am going to take you through what I consider each team's best jersey, color scheme, logo design, the whole nine throughout my life, and the best one that I've seen. We're going to do home and road, and we're going to break this down by division. We're going to start with the AL West tonight, and we're going to work our way all the way through Major League Baseball. And I'm going to tell you why I like these particular jerseys of these teams. And yeah, we're just going to tell you why I like these jerseys. Now, there's no delineation. So I could, for example, like the Phillies 1980 home jerseys and the Phillies 2008 road jerseys. There is no delineation. If I go with a 1980 home jersey, I can go with any other era of road jersey or vice versa that I want. But again, this is something fun. We're getting into baseball. We're getting into the swing of it. Let's bring baseball in full board tonight with the AL West. MattyB's all-time best favorite AL West jerseys of all time. Let's bring up the very rudimentary graphic. And there you go. Let's break them down. Let's start from the left, going to your right. The California Angels. This is their 1980, 80s, early 80s home jerseys. All right. Very basic, but very classic. I thought whoever came up with the concept of wrapping a halo around the A deserved to like be given the keys of the castle, man. That might be one of the coolest design choices I've ever seen for a sports team name ever. And there was something, and then you can't see it from these pictures, but on their sleeve they had California, the state, and then they had the halo around the state. So this is a very basic jersey from the 80s, but this is the type of thing with this type of team and this type of design logo thing. You don't got to get flashy with it because it's all in the name and the presentation of the Angels with the halo. So I happen to like all time my favorite Angels combination of jerseys, and there's been a lot. As a matter of fact, as we move through these teams, we'll discuss some of their history. There's been some variations that were really bad, really, really, really bad, and really, 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 really bad. The ones with the wings and the the big capital A with the wings coming, those were terrible with the pinstripes. Their jerseys now are okay, but if you want to sell money, in my opinion, go back to these. Go back to the 1980 home and away jerseys, man, because those are classic. They work, and they're my favorite. All-time California or Anaheim, whatever you want to call you, Los Angeles, Angels of Anaheim, whatever. But there you go. There's MattyB's all-time favorite Angels uniforms. Now let's move to the A's. And yeah, I know it says Oakland because that's what it is. The top jersey or their home jersey, to me, the best one they've ever had is that one. It's the 72 Oakland A home jersey. Nothing captures the Oakland Athletics better than that jersey for me. And then down the bottom is their 1980s, early mid 80s road jerseys. Basic as hell, but classic as hell. The big puke green jersey with Oakland written across the front. I don't know, man. I just have really good memories of that jersey. To me, it just works. It really, really works. It ain't frilly, it ain't flashy, but it works for me. And yeah, so the 1972 home A's and the early to mid 80s road A's jerseys are my favorite A's uniform combinations. Moving on to the Seattle Mariners. I know growing up in Philadelphia in the 80s, you weren't catching a lot of Seattle Mariner, not Marinara, but the Mariner, but you weren't catching a lot of Seattle Mariner baseball. It just wasn't happening. But what you did see, it was cool. And I think that the M design, the trident, that's another awesome design feature. And it's classic. It's classic Seattle Mariners. I really wish they'd go back to those. They represent an era of Mariner baseball that was terrible in the 80s. But again, to me, it's just classic. That jersey there's no improvements needed to that jersey. None. And then the jersey above it is their mid 80s. They started out with the same exact variant of their home jerseys as their away jersey. It was a powder blue, but that top one is another variant they went to right before they changed their uniforms completely. And that's the Seattle across the front with a nautical kind of theme to it. It just works for me, man. Sometimes you just don't have to keep trying to perfect something. You've already achieved it. But there you go. The 1980s home Mariners, the early to mid 80 home Mariner jerseys and the mid 80 away Mariner jerseys are my favorite Mariners jerseys. On to the Rangers. The top one is their 80s road jerseys. Again, not a big powder blue fan, but it's going to show up a little bit in this little thing because some of these jerseys work in powder blue better than they do in any other color. And the old school Texas Ranger road jerseys in that disgusting powder blue with the very basic Texas written across the front works for me, man. It's classic. It's classic. The bottom jersey is a 2025 throwback jersey, but it was actually their 80s home jersey. So they kind of went to a retro look, but I recognize it from the 1980s, but it's the 1980s. So basically the 1980s Ranger uniforms are my favorite. And then wrap it out, the American League West, the most puzzling team growing up to try to follow as you're a kid of the Houston Astros. So the bottom jersey there, the one with the white with the orange and yellow on the shoulders and the arms, that's the road jerseys from the 80s. That's right. They were the only team in Major League Baseball that were white on the road. And it was very confusing, extremely confusing, especially when they were, when the other team, because everybody else was wearing white. But that was their road jerseys. But I give it credit because, first of all, in the history of the Astros, they don't really have really good patterns and schemes and designs. And that one is the best for me. I don't like their home jerseys from the 80s because it's got that green and yellow, that orange and yellow right across the front. And to me, it doesn't work. It's kind of disgusting. But those road jerseys work. Now, in 1993, they made those jerseys their home jerseys. And they switched it around. They finally got around to switching it around 93. And then I think in 94, they scrapped the whole idea and went to the black with the black Astros. But that Astros road jersey from the day is my all-time favorite. And the jersey above it is their 2025 City Connect jerseys. Those are the best jerseys in baseball right now. I love that design. Why can't we have a City Connect like that? That is classic, but yet modern. It pops and it's stylish, man. That's a great jersey. And right now, again, it's more because the Astros have just had bad uniforms and bad uniform logos and designs. Right now, to me, that's my favorite Astro home jersey of all time. So there you go. MattyB's all-time MLB jersey list. We just knocked out the American League West. We'll do a division a night until we get to the end. And of course, we'll leave the NL East to last. And let's have some fun, man. That's what this show's all about, is having some fun. So there you go. MattyB's all-time jersey thing. I am an old school Texas Ranger. It is. It again. I don't know if it's it's nostalgia, right, Joe? I mean, back in the day when we were actually dealing with it, we probably didn't like it, but right now, I mean, you look back on it, and especially what you've seen them kind of go with in the future, it just works, man. It worked the best. But there you have it, Matty B's all-time favorite jersey list, AL West, and we'll go on to the probably AL Central tomorrow. So, all right, let's wrap it up. One last segment to go. Yeah, it's the MattyB card review. We kind of end every show on this one where we take a look at one of my very many sports cards and kind of talk about it a little bit. We've been kind of doing old school baseball this week. Last night was the Big Cat, Andres Galarraga. Then we did, who did we do earlier in the week? Paul Molitor this week. I lose track of them. But tonight we're going to wrap up with a player that, you know, to me was a really good player and kind of got sort of lost by being on a really good baseball team for a lot of good years, but he was really a solid player. And I always wondered what this guy would look like playing for the Phillies. So let's go and let's do the 1990. What is this? The 94 Pinnacle Tito Martinez. This was his final year with Seattle before he was sent to the Mets or to the Yankees. But it's Tito Martinez. Again, a really solid baseball player throughout his time. Kind of got overlooked and overshadowed by some of the teams that he played for. But he made his debut in 90 for the Mariners, and he last played in Major League Baseball in 05 for the Yankees. A career 271 batting average, 339 home runs, 1,271 RBIs with the Mariners, Yankees, Cardinals, Rays, and back to the Mariners. Or back to the Yankees in 05, and that's where he retired. He was a bench coach for the Marlins in 2013. He was a two-time All-Star, a four-time World Series champion, all with the Yankees in 96, 98, and 2000. He won the Silver Slugger Award in 97, and he's honored out in Monument Park in Yankee Stadium. On the international front, he is also one of the last baseball players to participate in the summer or the U.S. national program. He was a gold medal winner for the 88 U.S. baseball team in Seoul, also a silver medal winner with the Pan American team or the Pan American Games in 87 in Indianapolis, and a silver medal as the coach of the 1988, or I'm sorry, of a member of the 1988 World Baseball Cup team for Team USA, and a gold medal winner for the Baseball Classic team. He managed the U.S. Baseball Classic team in 2017. So pretty hefty resume. What's he doing these days, man? Let's get him into Philadelphia and let him be the new manager. I wouldn't mind Tito Martinez managing this team. Absolutely 100%. But again, a really solid player. Kind of got overshadowed by playing with the Yankees all those years, winning 4 World Series. But he was a real pivotal part. I like to look at him as the Yankees' Raul Ibanez. You know, that's what he was in my opinion. Or he was a combination of Ibanez and Jim Eisenreich. He was the Yankees, Ibanez and Jim Eisenreich. You know, he was that kind of player for them in terms of the role that he served. So there's Tito Martinez's 94 Pinnacle card. It's quite worthless on pretty much every database. About $3, the most I could find it for. But it's a solid card, man, and it's a solid player, and it's a player from my youth that I really liked. And so he's tonight's card review, and there you go. Here it is right in its physical form. Again, design, we talked about this last night with this Top Stadium Club from 93. Looks like Pinnacle kind of jumped off of them for 94, but it's that whole front side of the card, just the whole front of it being the picture, and then the colorful backing of the card, just like the 93 Stadium Clubs. But here's Pinnacle's 94, and it's the Tito Martinez. And that is your card of the night, or for your card review segment, Tito friggin' Martinez of Mariners, Yankees, Rays, and Joe says, yeah, he was a great player. And I would have loved to have him here. And as I mentioned, He's got a lot of coaching experience, and he's got a lot of winning coaching experience. Let's bring him here. Let's make him the new manager of the Phillies. I'd be okay with that. But all right, folks, that's going to wrap me up. Great night tonight. Phillies loser 7-5, but we kind of continued the conversation about how certain aspects of this team really bother me. And we talked about a new segment. We talked about the best jerseys, my best jerseys of all time, and we're going to continue running through that. We did the of the night segment, did our card review, we did our day in Philadelphia sports history, and we talked about the pivotal role that the month of April has in baseball and how sucky it can be, especially if you live in where I'm living. There's an inch of snow on the ground. Did all that tonight. Tomorrow night, I'll be back. We'll wrap this thing up again, but same kind of situation. Following the Fightins final, you'll see me. So look for me around the same time that you saw me tonight. But don't forget, tomorrow night, Fightins final rolls on. Mike Laro's got the call and all the great other programming we have on this network. So until we talk again, you guys have a great rest of your night and an even better tomorrow. See ya.